Japan is one of the largest economies in the world, but over the last 30 years, interest rates in Japan have been almost zero. And for 30 years, everybody said that that is going to destroy the Japanese economy since that increases massively its debt. Today, Japan has the highest debt to GDP ratio in the world. And the Japanese economy is doing perfectly fine. However, that's about to change. The Japanese economy is collapsing and taking down with it the entire US economy. That's why the United States recently injected $36.7 billion into the Japanese economy. But that's not enough. The United States might need to inject another few $100 billion into the Japanese economy to save itself. Yesterday, Donald Trump was imposing tariffs on Japan. Today, it is injecting billions of dollars into the economy. The debt to GDP ratio since 1985 has risen from 65% up to 250% in recent years. And this was possible because the yields in Japan have been zero. When you're borrowing money and there is an interest on it, it's a problem. But when you borrow money and there is no interest on the top of it, it's not a problem. Imagine for a moment if you owe $1 billion to the bank, but the interest rate on that loan is 0%. Are you going to worry about that debt? Of course not, because that debt is not ballooning. There is no exponential day on that debt, and you can basically carry that debt for as long as possible. Up until 2024, interest rates in Japan have been pretty much zero or sometimes below that. And that made sense for a lot of people to borrow money and invest that money in the US because during the exact same period, interest rates in the United States or the yields in the US were about 3% or sometimes even higher, as high as 4%. And that has been happening over the last 30 years. And that's why Wall Street, the Japanese government, the Japanese corporations have borrowed trillions of dollars and invested in the US bonds and made a lot of money. And I think that's one of the best investments you can possibly make. On one side, average people have to think and work hard and build something that is real, either manufacture something or offer a service. But in this case, people basically borrowed money from Japan, where the cost of money was essentially zero, and lent it to the US government. But that is about to flip because inflation in Japan is rising. Look at 2022. Before that, inflation in Japan, sometimes it has risen to 1%, but most of the times there was a deflation in Japan. A deflation means that prices are falling down. Every single year, you would go to the store and prices are much cheaper than they have been last year. So prices are going down, which means that the Japanese government wants to stimulate growth. The Japanese government wants to create inflation. And you do that by making the cost of borrowing money essentially zero. The more people borrow money, the more they spend, the more there is going to be inflation. But that inflation did not arrive for the last 30 years. It just started to happen recently since 2022 when inflation crossed 4.1%. And according to a lot of forecasts, this inflation is not going away anytime soon. In fact, it is right now hovering around 2%. And based on the analysts' expectations, it might even rise to 2.5% or even 3%. That means that this carry trade that has been happening over the last 30 years will no longer be possible. To understand how big that disaster is, you have to understand how governments in general borrow money. So imagine on one side you have the Japanese government. On the other side, you have the people or the institutions who lend that money and buy the Japanese government's bonds. This could be the Bank of Japan, pension funds, insurance companies, or even foreign investors. The more the bidders are there on the other side, the more they want to buy the Japanese government bonds, the lower interest rate the government of Japan can possibly offer, and vice versa. The less bidders are there, the less people want to buy them, the higher the interest rate the Japanese government has to offer. But this was never a problem because no matter how much debt the government of Japan would issue, the Bank of Japan would print trillions of yens and will buy them from the Japanese government. And it was not a problem because that was not creating any kind of inflation because there was deflation. The government of Japan purposely wanted to create inflation. Imagine you print money, there is no inflation. You print more money, there is no inflation. You keep printing money. There is no inflation. Essentially, based on that logic, it means that you can basically keep printing as much money as you want. But as I told you earlier, this is about to flip, and this is the biggest crisis we're about to face. When inflation starts to rise, now the Bank of Japan no longer can step in and buy these government bonds. Now the government of Japan has to sell these bonds to real investors, either from inside Japan or outside Japan. So if you are a Japanese pension funds, now you might think, maybe it's time to buy the Japanese government bonds. Sell the bonds in the United States, bring that money back to Japan, and buy the Japanese government bonds. So investors, before doing that, they first have to buy the Japanese currency, which is the yen. And then you can use these yens to buy the Japanese government bonds. If you want to buy the bond of any country, you first have to buy the currency of that country, be it the United States, the United Kingdom, European countries. But when you buy any currency, the demand for that currency strengthens, and that currency should become stronger. But over the last year, the Japanese yen is becoming weaker and weaker because nobody is buying the Japanese yen. When no one is buying the Japanese yen, it means that nobody is buying the Japanese government bonds. And when there isn't such a strong demand for your bonds, now you have to offer higher interest rates to attract these investors. First, you offer 1%. They're not buying it. Then you offer 1.5%. If they're still not buying it, then you offer 2%, then 2.5%, and so on and so forth. And the reason they're not buying it is because inflation is becoming a problem. And when inflation keeps rising, then as investors, you want a real return, a return that is higher than inflation. If inflation is 2%, then you want 3%. But even if they're still not buying it at 3%, that means that either these investors are expecting higher inflation or they are expecting a higher return because the debt to GDP ratio is 250% and there is a huge risk with the Japanese government. 10-year Japanese government bonds literally had a yield that is less than 0%. Today, it is almost 3%. If you look at the 30-year government bonds, the situation is even worse. Back in 2021, the yields were 0.6%. Today, they have even crossed 4%. That means that the Japanese government every day is offering higher and higher yields because no one wants to loan their money to the Japanese government. And when you have so much debt and you can't borrow more money to refinance your debt, the only path for you is to default. And this is becoming a much bigger problem than most people expect. Total tax revenue for this fiscal year is about 83.7 trillion yen. That might seem like a lot of money, but what if I told you that the total debt servicing cost is about 31.7 trillion yen? That is the total interest that the government has to pay and some principal to avoid that debt from ballooning. So 37% of all the taxes collected from the Japanese people is directly going into servicing the debt. Think about that for a moment. Imagine you're making $100,000 and you have to pay $37,000 in credit card payments. Do you think you're in trouble? I think you are in a huge trouble. And that's the situation that the Japanese government is right now. And that's just the tip of the iceberg because the average interest rate on the Japanese debt is about 1% right now. And as the yields keeps rising, those older debts that the Japanese government borrowed at less than 1% or about 1%, they will start expiring. So the Japanese government has to refinance them as the current rate. And if the current rate is about 3%, what do you think that's going to happen? That means that the cost of servicing the debt is about to triple in the next couple of years. And when that is going to happen, what do you think is going to happen to the total debt servicing cost? Right now is 37% of all the taxes collected. In a couple of years, that could be literally every penny in taxes that the average Japanese will be paying will go directly into servicing the debt. And that's what we call a default. But here's the question. Why is the United States is even trying to save in Japan? Didn't Donald Trump say multiple times that Japan has been taking advantage out of the US and now we are going to impose tariffs on Japan because it's finally time for Japan, first of all, to pay us because they've been taking advantage out of us. And secondly, we've been protecting Japan for so many years and it's time for Japan to pay for that. But now, literally, last couple of days, the government of the United States spends $36 billion to save the Japanese economy or the Japanese currency. And that's not because the United States or Donald Trump in particular loves Japan so much, but rather the United States is trying to save its own economy. You see, back up until 2024, when interest rates in Japan were about 0% or less than 0%, trillions of dollars have been borrowed from Japan and were invested in the US government bonds. Now, because the equation is flipping and now interest rates in Japan have risen to 1% because of that inflation, the Japanese bonds are becoming more and more attractive. If at 3% they can attract investors, then the government of Japan will start offering 4%, then 5%. And because investors look at Japan's government as a very risky investment, at least at this point, Japan might end up offering up to 5% in yields. Now imagine, if you are a Japanese pension fund, you will be making a real return of 1% or 1.5% in the US after deducting inflation. And in Japan, you will make a real return of 4%. What are you going to do with $1.2 trillion that you're investing in the US? There is no more point investing it in the US. You will take that money, bring it back in the US. Now, there is less demand for the US national debt. Secondly, all those trillions of dollars that Wall Street has borrowed over the last 30 years from Japan and invested that money in the US national debt. Now, as interest rates in Japan are going to rise, there is no more money to be made. In fact, if interest rates keeps rising in Japan, now you will be making a loss. And if you are Wall Street that borrowed that money, now you will basically sell your US government treasuries and you will return the money back to Japan. That weakens the demand for the national debt of the US, which means that now the US government also has to offer a higher yields to attract investors. And a single extra percentage in yields is going to cost the government about $400 billion. Maybe more than that if the yields would rise to 6%. Maybe the government will be paying about $2 trillion in interest payments by the end of the next year. So if we spend $36.6 billion to buy yen, the yen is going to strengthen. Now the yen is going to become stronger. That means that there is going to be lower inflation in Japan. Japan imports roughly 95% of its energy. If the yen is stronger, the cost of that energy goes down for Japan, so inflation in Japan cools down. In fact, Japan is an island, so it imports a lot of things. So if the yen is stronger, then inflation in Japan goes down. Inflation in Japan goes down, now there is no reason to hike the interest rate. In fact, if inflation in Japan goes back to 0%, maybe the Bank of Japan will even lower interest rates. That means that there is no reason to invest in Japanese yields. So lower yields in Japan means that there is no reason to sell the US national debt. And that's how the United States is saving itself. But there is just one problem. This is not a solution, but rather just trying to buy time. You can do this once and it's going to buy time. Maybe you can do this twice. But after a few times, after spending a few $100 billion buying the Japanese yen, you will run out of money. So this is basically an attempt to save America and Japan some time to fix this problem. Unfortunately, there is no fix to this problem. All we can do is to let the yields gradually rise. So there is not going to be a shock in the market, but rather the market will slowly adjust to it. The real question is what this means for you. First of all, more of your taxes will go into the debt payments. Whether you like it or not, inflation in Japan will keep rising, which means that the yields will keep rising, which means that the cost of borrowing for the United States will keep rising. The more the cost of servicing the debt will be, the more of your taxes will go to service that debt. Secondly, if the cost of debt for the government would rise, that will hike the yields across the entire economy. So the cost of borrowing money for companies will rise. The cost of your mortgage will rise. The cost of credit cards would rise. So essentially, the cost of living across America will continue rising because of this. But on the flip side, there's some good news. When the cost of borrowing rises, some assets will rise in value and other assets will fall in value. Just like when the cost of borrowing falls down, the same thing happens. Some assets will lose their value and other stocks will rise in value. So if you know how to value stocks and you know which stocks will rise when this is going to flip, then you are going to make a lot of money. So if you want to know which stocks you have to buy right now that will massively profit when this is going to flip, then join the Investing Academy. There I post every single stock that will massively profit from this. The link is in the description of this video.